Field Yates, draft analyst for ESPN, on Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, spent a little time around him both at the Senior Bowl and prior to that. He's an easy guy. I mean, he comes from a background, military parents, super disciplined. Like, the guy is a great leader. Like, I really do believe the right team will have Jalen Milroe not just find success, but like sooner rather than later. Like, if you look at all the singular traits that the various players in this class have, his rushing ability is one of the more undeniable ones. And he's got a cannon down the field as well. He's got to totally refine the short and intermediate passing game work, but he can chuck it down the field. And you can just imagine some mad scientist offensive coordinator who runs the ball with him 12 straight times, and the next thing you know, fake the run and just bombs away for a 50-yard touchdown.
Let's welcome in G. Bush, 92.3 The Fan, as well as the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, The Barber Shop. G. Bush, Milroe's a guy that I see how you could fall in love with him, but he kind of scares me too.
Oh, listen, he scares the heck out of me. We saw it first place, and I think in our division, it's kind of difficult because we could talk ourselves into it because we saw Lamar Jackson go at the late end of the first round to the Baltimore Ravens, and it just seems like Ozzie Newsome was able to fleece everybody again. And now you have a guy who has 2 MVPs, a perennial player that is going to. I think he's the all-time leading rusher as a quarterback now as well. And in some of his throwing and refinement has happened under the Baltimore Ravens. You look at Jalen Milroe. He's bigger than Lamar Jackson. I think he has a stronger arm. He might be just as fast as Lamar Jackson, but the problem we have is, when you go back to the Senior Bowl, had a tough week at the Senior Bowl. When you go back and look at his tape, he had a tough time hitting intermediate throws. He had a tough time diagnosing what defense was going to do to him. Now, granted, the people will probably say, hey, Nick Saban leaving had a lot to do with that, but I mean, he even had dynamic receivers like Williams out on the outside. He's had some guys. I think he threw the ball to Isaiah Bond before he transferred to Texas. So he had him on his roster. So he's had some very, very good wide receivers. He's had a really nice offensive line, a nice running game, and he has not put the numbers up that we expect. One thing I will expect is Jalen Milroe is going to come out here, and he's going to run somewhere in the 4.4s. I wouldn't be surprised if it's low 4.4. He's going to run. He's going to look good on a lot of this stuff, and it's going to entice some team. I will say this. If you got a quarterback who you think is, got 2-3 more years in their system, and you think that your team is very close, and I wouldn't be surprised if a team goes and picks him up and put him on the roster and let him sit for a little bit. Teams, you might look at out there, I don't know, the LA Rams. They're looking to move on from Matt Stafford. Maybe they pay Stafford a couple more years, bring Milroe in. Teams out there, I don't know, do you bring him into Jacksonville? Trevor Lawrence has struggled a bit here and there. Do you bring him? What about, the Indianapolis Colts? I mean, I don't know if you want to do that twice. Because you got a guy like that on your roster in Richardson, but there's somebody going to take him. I think he goes in the second round. Third round is the latest I think he'll go because somebody's going to be enticed by that speed.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say is Tommy Rees. He was better under Tommy Rees than he was after Tommy Rees left. So if the Browns draft him, they know what they're getting. The question is, do you know how to mold it into what you need?
And you listen, Kevin Stefanski likes running the quarterback sneak stuff. Kevin Stefanski, if they did go that route, he would be in the game plan. He would see a package or two. They wanted to run some of that stuff with Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson unfortunately lost a step. And you look at, what they wanted to do with him with the RPO stuff, never quite turned out to be what they were looking for. But, if the Browns, I always said like this, if Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry like him, and they want to trade down and do some stuff, and he's still there, and they decide that's their guy, well, they better make it work. I'm not going to cry about it. This is their year to prove it, and if they like him, go get him.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because if they don't make it work, there's going to be some new sheriffs in town.